Deep beneath the restless surface of the Red Sea, there's a place where history and nightmare collide. For thousands of years, the abyss of Nuweiba has guarded a secret that modern science is only beginning to grasp. It's not just a collection of shipwrecks. It is a frozen moment of mass destruction. When the first cameras breached the darkness, they revealed something that defied nature. Wheels of gold, axles of iron, and human remains, all fused into coral as if welded by a terrifying force. What happened in these waters wasn't just a crossing, it was an annihilation. Today, we dive into the most controversial archaeological site on Earth to uncover what's truly mixed in the wreckage. To understand the carnage at the bottom of the sea, one must first look at the shore. Nuweiba Beach is a massive desert plain, but it is surrounded by a wall of jagged, impassable mountains. In ancient times, if an army chased you into this beach, there was no retreat. You were trapped between the stone and the sea. The geological formation of Wadi Water acts like a funnel, pushing everything toward the water's edge. This was the stage for a massacre. Look at these mountains. They are the silent witnesses to a trapped nation. Science calls this a dead end. The ancient texts call it a miracle. But the wreckage proves that for the pursuing army, it was a tomb. In 1978, amateur archaeologist Ron Wyatt arrived at this beach with a theory that the world ignored. Armed with basic scuba gear and a primitive sonar, he descended. What he found at 60 to 200 feet changed everything. He didn't just find round objects. He found specific chariot wheels. Some had 4 spokes, others 6, and some 8. Why does this matter? Because in the 18th dynasty of Egypt, all 3 types were used simultaneously, a unique fingerprint in time. These weren't Roman or Phoenician. These were the royal chariots of the pharaohs. As he brushed away the silt from a gold-plated hub, the reality of the find began to sink in. He was looking at the lost army of the Exodus. But as the exploration continued, the wonder turned into horror. This isn't a neat archaeological site. It's a mix. In the wreckage, divers discover human femurs and horse hooves that had been petrified and encased in coral. But they weren't just lying next to the chariots. They were bonded to them. The intense pressure of the water collapsing must have been so violent that it fused biological matter with metal. Imagine the force required to crush a chariot into a soldier's bone and then preserve it for 3,000 years in a salt-crusted tomb. This is the terrifying mix. It's the physical evidence of a sudden, watery grave that claimed thousands of lives in a heartbeat. Mainstream science has always asked, how could a multitude cross a sea that is thousands of feet deep? The answer lies in the bathymetry of the Gulf of Aqaba. To the north and south of Nuweiba, the sea floor drops into a 5,000-foot abyss, a dark, cold canyon. But right here, at this exact point, a natural underwater bridge exists. It is a massive, gently sloping path that connects Egypt to the coast of Saudi Arabia. It's almost as if the earth itself provided a highway for this specific event. As we follow the submerged road, the trail of wreckage continues all the way to the other side. But what waits on the Saudi Arabian shore is even more mysterious and even more guarded. A bridge of this magnitude requires markers, and history did not leave us empty-handed. In the late 70s, a red granite column was found lying in the shallows of Nuweiba. It bore no inscriptions, worn smooth by the tides. But on the exact opposite shore in Saudi Arabia, an identical column was discovered, still standing. This one had a message. In archaic Hebrew, it listed the words, Pharaoh, Mizraim, Solomon, and Yahweh. It appeared to be a memorial marker erected by King Solomon himself to commemorate the site of a miracle. Yet, shortly after its discovery, the Saudi government removed the pillar and replaced it with a simple flag. Why erase a 3,000-year-old signpost? What is so dangerous about a piece of granite? Across the water lies the ancient land of Midian, a region shrouded in military secrecy for decades. If you attempt to follow the path from the beach into the mountains, you are met with miles of high-security fences and no-entry signs in multiple languages. This is the gateway to Jabal, al-Lawz. For years, independent researchers had to sneak into this territory under the cover of night. Why is a barren desert mountain guarded like a nuclear facility? The answer lies in what's at the summit. As we move inland, the landscape changes, and the air grows heavy with the weight of ancient secrets that the modern world is not yet ready to accept. Jabal al-Lawz stands like a sentinel of stone, but its peak is unlike any other in the region. From a distance, it looks as if it has been dipped in ink. The summit is obsidian black, contrasting sharply against the beige granite of the mountains around it. Mainstream geologists suggested it was volcanic. But when you break open these black rocks, the inside is pure light-colored granite. The blackness is not internal. It is a scorched coating. It is as if an intense, focused heat from the sky melted the very skin of the mountain. In the ancient texts, it is written that God descended upon the mountain in fire. Is this blackened summit the literal thermal shadow of a divine encounter? The evidence is etched into the stone itself. Deep in the desert plains behind the mountain, we find a geological anomaly that defies every law of nature. The split rock of Horeb. A massive boulder, 5 stories high, split perfectly down. The middle with a gap wide enough for a man to walk through. But look closer at the base. Despite being one of the driest places on Earth, the rock shows massive water erosion deep. Smooth channels carved by thousands of gallons of high-pressure water. It looks as if a river once burst out from the very heart of the dry stone. How does a single rock in a rainless desert show the signature of a raging waterfall? For the wandering nation of the Exodus, it was a source of life. For us, it is a riddle written in stone. The most chilling piece of evidence lies at the base of the mountain, protected by a double layer of chain-link fence. The altar of the golden calf. Carved into the rocks are petroglyphs of cows and bulls, but they aren't local to Arabia. The style is distinctly Egyptian, identical to the Apis bull cult of the 18th dynasty. Why would a group of people in the heart of the Saudi desert worship Egyptian gods? The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. The golden wheels in the sea, the scorched mountain, the water-eroded rock, and the Egyptian idols. We are looking at a trail of breadcrumbs that leads to a single, terrifying conclusion. The event happened, it was violent, and the world has been trying to forget it ever since. For years, the mix was dismissed as mere coral formations. But when samples were brought to surface, the story changed. Forensic analysis revealed that these weren't just calcium deposits. Shaped like bones, they were petrified biological matter. Human femurs and horse hooves, mineralized over thousands of years, yet retaining their cellular structure. This is a smoking gun. In any other context, a mass grave of this scale would be the archaeological find of the century. Is it because the presence of these bones, fused into 18th dynasty chariot wheels, forces us to rewrite the history of the ancient world? The silence of the academic world is as deafening as a cataclysm that buried these soldiers. Skeptics argue that a sea cannot simply open. But physics tells a different story. In 2010, researchers used computer models to demonstrate a phenomenon called wind set-down. A persistent 60-mile-per-hour wind blowing from the east could, in theory, push the water back and create a dry land bridge for a limited window of time. But look at the Nuweiba crossing again. This isn't just a shallow pond, it's a sea. For the water to collapse with enough force to fuse bone to metal. We are talking about a hydraulic hammer effect, millions of tons of water returning at the speed of sound. This wasn't a natural tide, it was a physical manifestation of an impossible event. The wreckage is the wreckage of a collision between fluid dynamics and divine timing. The journey didn't end at the sea. Across the water, in the wilderness of Saudi Arabia, the question shifts from how they died to how they lived. How did 2 million people find water in one of the most desolate places on earth? This leads us to the 12 wells of Elim. Deep in the Saudi desert, researchers located a site with exactly 12 ancient wells and dozens of palm trees, clustered together in a region where water is a myth. But even more baffling are the quail cycles, migratory birds, that still follow the exact path described in the ancient texts. It seems the deeper we look into the geography of the Arabian desert, the more the myths turn into maps. Every spring, every well, every mountain peak tells the same story. They were here. Today, the very site of these discoveries is undergoing a radical transformation. Saudi Arabia is building Neom, a $1 trillion city of the future, directly over the region of Midian. High-tech skyscrapers and digital hubs are rising where the golden calf once stood. But as the concrete pours, the window for archaeological truth is closing. Why build a futuristic metropolis on top of the world's most sensitive historical site? Some call it progress. Others call it the ultimate cover-up. As the desert is reshaped, the evidence of the Exodus is being buried under layers of steel and glass. Hidden from the eyes of the world forever. Are we witnessing the final erasure of the past? As we conclude this chapter, we must ask ourselves, what are we afraid of? If the chariot wheels at the bottom of the Red Sea are real, then history is not what we were taught. It means that the impossible happened. The terrifying mix of bone and gold is a silent scream from a lost army. A reminder that the ocean does not forget. We have seen the scorched mountain, the split rock, and the forbidden altars. All that remains is the final verdict. In the last 15 minutes of our journey, we will bring together the world's leading experts to decide once and for all, is this the greatest discovery in human history, or the most elaborate illusion ever created? Why, after decades of findings, does the mainstream archaeological community remain silent? We are faced with a phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance. If these chariot wheels are accepted as the army of the Exodus, every textbook on ancient history must be burned. Every timeline of the Egyptian dynasties would collapse. For the academic elite, it is safer to call these unusual coral formations than to admit that a miracle left physical scars on the seabed. But the terrifying mix of bone and gold doesn't care about tenure or tradition. It exists. It is there, 200 feet below the waves, waiting for a generation that is brave enough to look at the evidence without bias. Consider the sheer scale of what we have uncovered. This wasn't a small skirmish. We are looking at the destruction of the most powerful military force of the Bronze Age. The gold-plated wheels found at Nuweiba were not meant for soldiers. They were for the royal elite, the inner circle of the Pharaoh himself. Their sudden disappearance would have left Egypt in a state of total collapse, a historical black hole that we actually see in the records of the late 18th dynasty. The wreckage in the Red Sea is the physical bridge between faith and forensics. It shows us that when the sea closed, it didn't just drown men, it drowned an entire era of human history. The mix is a monument to the moment the world changed forever. As the sun sets over the Gulf of Aqaba, the questions still linger. The Red Sea still guards its bones. The scorched peak of Jabal al-Lawz still stands in silent defiance. And the split rock of Horeb still waits for the rain that never comes. We have shown you the evidence, the wheels, the mix, the forbidden altars, and the underwater highway. Now, the verdict belongs to you. Are these just a series of impossible coincidences? Or is the truth staring us in the face from the bottom of the abyss? Perhaps the most terrifying thing isn't the wreckage itself, but the realization that the ancient stories are true. If you are ready to see what the world chooses to ignore, then the journey has only just begun. Don't let the truth be buried again. Like, subscribe, and stay curious. The past is never truly dead.